House Democrats have formally introduced an impeachment resolution against President Donald Trump following last week's riots in the U.S. Capitol. Professor of Political Science Peter Wheelhauer with Western Michigan University joining us live to tell us more. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Professor, why are lawmakers pushing the vote to impeach the president when his term is almost up?
Well, I think that when we look at the events that took place in the Capitol last week with the siege of the U.S. Capitol by what are largely agreed to be Trump supporters, I think that there's a sense that there's a direct line that can be drawn between the rhetoric of the president and his colleagues and the actual events, the actual actions that people took attacking the Capitol, threatening lawmakers and so forth. So I think that that's clear. When we look at the articles of impeachment, that's the clear line that's being drawn, and that's being classified as provoking an insurrection.
Most definitely. Hearing some of the conversations that are happening right now in national news, it's my understanding that if this happens, this would stop President Trump from any political spotlight in the 2024 elections. Is that true?
Well, it depends on what the Senate does. So the House passes a resolution to impeach, which is what's likely to happen here in the next day or so. But then in order for the president to be convicted, then the Senate has to hold a trial for which there's a 2/3 majority required for conviction. So the president can be impeached, and that's very likely to happen. It's very doubtful that he'll actually be impeached because the Democrats would need a large number of Republicans to go along with that. If they decide that that's part of the consequence, then they could say that he's banned from holding future political office. But again, that hinges on conviction in the Senate.
So you're saying that impeachment by vote will likely succeed. Is that what you're anticipating?
Sure, I think so. The Democrats now have a small majority in the House of Representatives, and all they need is all the Democrats to vote with them, and they can impeach the president.
Most definitely.
The question, though, is whether or not he can be convicted. And impeachment, remember, is basically just like an indictment. It's a set of charges that are formally brought against somebody, but the Senate has the responsibility for holding the trial.
Insurrection, inciting a riot. Do you think that he'll be convicted?
I think it's unlikely. My guess is that because the Senate is now evenly divided, 50-50, with Kamala Harris providing the tie vote, it's very likely that there would be a trial because that only requires a majority vote. But in order to convict the president of the things for which he's been charged, it requires then 17 Republicans to go along with it. And even though the president's support is weakening, it's unclear to me that you could find 17 Republicans to actually convict him.
Professor Peter Wheelhauer with Western Michigan University, we appreciate your time and your foresight on the topic.